What an interesting day. So much to talk about, especially regarding Elon Musk and Tesla. Now, before we get into that, I just got done watching, I guess, the majority of what's going to be the interview with Andrew Ross Sorkin and, what's his name? SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, whatever his name is. The FTX guy who essentially has lost everybody billions of dollars at this point. And it's a very, very interesting interview. It seems like there's a lot of lying going on. But one thing that was very interesting was Andrew brought up, and this ties back to Tesla and Elon, trust me. But Andrew brought up a question regarding call it a leaked text, because Sam was saying that it was a conversation between him and a friend, and he forgot his friend was a reporter. Anyways, the conversation essentially was Sam telling him, yeah, we essentially just say all this BS and we just say whatever it takes to say the things that people want to hear so we can get investments, and essentially greenwashing. And he was saying that he hates how this is the way the world works, but the truth is this is how the way the world works. And, I think it's just once again, we see more of this, and it just reminds me back to the whole ESG nonsense, right? The fact that you have oil companies, part of the S&P 500 ESG, yet Tesla is out of it, right? Like, it's just wild when you see all this stuff. And then everybody too, who's like all of a sudden against Elon because he bought Twitter and because he's advocating for free speech, and everyone's saying, oh, you're for hate speech. And it's like, oh my goodness, people, you gotta get your heads on straight, right? It can't be that you are so fanatical about being a renewable energy and climate change and global warming is the biggest thing that's going to affect the world. And then on the other hand, the second Elon buys Twitter, well, hold on, this is a bigger issue than even that, right? It just seems there's just no logic to it. So hopefully, this serves as a kind of a grounding, a gravity effect on people just kind of getting their priorities straight. All right. Now, speaking of that, let me go ahead and share my screen here. We're going to show you Twitter real quick. Let me see if I can figure this out. There we go. All right, cool. So you guys should be able to see Twitter here. Hopefully you can see everything here. All right, so this was, I'm not going to play it, but this was a interview today with Joe Kernan from Squawk Box. Again, Andrew Ross Sorkin is the one doing the interview right now with Sam, and he does Squawk Box with Joe. Anyway, it's just kind of funny to watch. But here, Joe is sitting there talking with this individual, and it was this morning, and they were talking about how everybody is essentially just like, kind of freaking out now when it comes to Elon Musk, and he's buying Twitter, and what's the effect that's going to have to do with Tesla, and people are going to stop buying Teslas because of this. And you can see here, essentially, Elon says down here, cancel culture needs to be canceled. And the reason I want to show this to you is because what this interview was talking about mainly is the effect that this potential demand issue or brand damage that Tesla may have because Elon Musk owns Twitter. And essentially, this individual was saying it's kind of nonsense, right? And what he was really saying, which I found very intriguing, is that 97% of people that he spoke to, that he polled, and I don't know how they get their data, but again, so this is anecdotal. I don't have all the research, just regurgitating something I saw that I found interesting. But what he was saying was that 97% of people truly think the country's too divided and wants the country to come together. And so really, it's that 3%, those outliers are making all the noise and who are trying to sow more of this, this tension between everybody else. And the truth is, with a lot of companies that tend to just, cater towards the people making the most noise, you're really affecting within your company all the other people that want all of that to stop, right? You're creating harm for them because they won't speak up because they're just going to be like, whatever, I'll let it go. I'll keep my own ideas, my own thoughts to myself, and I'll deal with this BS. It goes back to, for me at least, and maybe this is controversial. I'm not trying to be controversial, but I'm at work to do work. I'm there for the company's mission. I'm there to advance what my company is doing, right? And the effects that we're having on the world, and most importantly, for my clients, my customers, right? Like that needs to be everybody's mission, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. This whole idea that my company and all of it needs to identify with everything that I see from a political, a religious, a social economic perspective, that's silly. That's absolutely insane. Right, that allows for just nothing but conformity and no diverse opinions out there. So I don't know. It was very interesting to see that and see where that was going. And I like to see that Elon just commented on it. I wasn't expecting to see that. I had this up. I was going to talk about this, and then Elon just randomly commented on it. So speaking of Elon, even bigger news. Let me share my screen with you real quick. I'm assuming you've all seen this by now because hopefully you're on Twitter as much as I am. But here we go. Y'all should retweeting this. Hit that bid. Great channel. Love them. Here we go. Elon Musk tweeting, "Thanks, Tim." Let me see if I can. Let's just double click into this. Here we go. Thanks, Tim Cook, for taking me around Apple's beautiful headquarters. All right, so how interesting is that? In the last video I made on Monday, I spoke about how Elon is essentially going to war with Apple and Tim Cook. Essentially, the one company you don't mess with, the big bully, the big guy on the yard that you just don't want anything to do with, because guess what? They have hundreds of billions of dollars sitting back there, stockpiled. They can essentially do whatever they want, but they do have one big issue, two big issues. Wait, they have issues. Let me explain. Now, sure, they have plenty of money. Yeah, sure, they have dominance when it comes to the iPhone, OS, all that. Agreed. I'm an Apple guy. I mean, hell, I got Steve Jobs right behind me. I'm an Apple guy. But the problem they have is, one, they have failed to innovate in a long, long time. Now, you could say they've innovated from a business perspective with services. Yeah, sure, I'll give you that. You can say the AirPods, even though I would argue a lot of that IP came from buying Beats by Dre. Whatever, I'll give that to you. But other than that, what have they done? CarPlay, again, I have talked about this. To me, that looks like a little child game. It doesn't actually look like something I would want in a vehicle. What else have they done? Apple TV, in my opinion, Apple TV is awful. And the reason I say it, compared to other people, Apple TV is great. But the reason I say it's awful is because it was not this guy's mission. It's not what he wanted. It's not what he envisioned for Apple TV. What Steve Jobs envisioned for Apple TV was essentially where the same thing we see with iTunes, where instead of having to go and subscribe to services or certain networks, you could subscribe for what you want to watch. In other words, if I want to watch one episode of something, I could purchase just that episode. Just like for music, I could purchase just that song. If I want to purchase the ability to watch an entire channel, I could purchase just that channel, right? It was way more a la carte, and that's what Steve Jobs had envisioned for the TV world. And that's what he was never actually able to get done, right? His time here was just too short, unfortunately. Rest in peace. But that was the vision. So in my opinion, I haven't seen Apple really do much. Nothing that's really excited me, not in the way that Elon Musk has done. Now, here's the question. I know there's been beef historically between Tim Cook and Elon, but the truth is, if Tim Cook is being honest, Steve Jobs would have loved Elon. Steve Jobs was known for deleting parts, right? He believed in removing things, right? He was always ahead of his time with that. Things like the floppy drive, right? Everyone said he was crazy for getting rid of that. He got rid of it. We saw the same thing with, USBs. We've seen the same thing. Even with the charging, right? The MagSafe charger, right? That was something that, nobody else was doing. Nobody else wanted. Everyone thought that, Apple's being weird about this, but we loved it. We absolutely loved it. And guess what? You see the same thing with Tesla and their superchargers. And now Elon's trying to make that the standard for the world, opening it up wide release, essentially, opening up the patents for it. And you already see Aptera leaning into it. So there's just a lot of synergies between Elon and Steve Jobs. And if Tim Cook is honest with himself, Steve Jobs would have been all in with Elon. In fact, Steve Jobs may have bought Tesla whenever Elon was trying to get Apple to buy it. Sure that Tim Cook regrets that now. Anyways, the point is, there are a lot of synergies that can happen between the two, and I would love to see that moving forward. Sure, they may compete in other realms, such as OS for vehicles, but the truth is there are synergies, and hopefully these two can get along. I think that would be excellent. Now, today we have Neuralink at, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern, so 6 p.m. West Coast time, I believe. It might be Central. Look that up. I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern. But so I'm very excited to watch that. And then tomorrow we have the Tesla Semi event. So very big days. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow at the Semi event. I'm the guy who feeds into things and, hopes for the over the moon thing to happen. And so for the over the moon thing to happen, I would love to see, a la the initial semi truck release. I would love it if, they do everything with the semi, they do the deliveries, they talk about the specs, all that. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, one more thing. And out the back, once again, we see a Roadster roll out and they're like, oh, here's the final production of the Roadster. They're starting delivery at the end of December. Whoa, what a moment that would be. That would be insane. That would be something no one's expecting. No one's even hyping up the Semi Day. I love that there's no hype about it because that means there's going to be no letdown. And speaking of, excitement, you see the stock price today? Wow, what a relief. Up 7%. Man, have we needed that. Hopefully anyone out there who's getting margin called feels better now. But that's definitely a big relief. And why did that happen? Well, that happened because Jerome Powell came out and he spoke and he essentially said that we're going to get 50 basis points in December. Now, I still think Jerome Powell needs to be replaced. Why? Because the man, he's either lost his mind or he's being extremely surgical and strategic with his wording, with his pointed wording. It's not like he's being beating around the bush on certain things. And what am I talking about? Well, today he said that we've seen no real progress in inflation and that October was, it was a good surprise. It was 1 month, but it was only 1 month. And to me, I'm like ripping my hair out listening to this because we went from 9.1 to 8.7 to 8.5 to 8.3 to 8.1 to 7.7. Do not tell me it's 1 month. All right, this is you choosing not to see things. Now, if you can say we're not coming down fast enough. You can say we haven't come down enough. All that I would be behind, be like, hey, you're right. But for you to say that this is just 1 month, no, get out of here. That's not true. We see the trends. We see what's happening in the markets. We see housing. We see lumber prices. We see metals. I mean, I don't have to say this every time. Like, we can see that inflation's coming down. Look at Black Friday. Look anywhere. The sales are out of control. Retail is just overstocked with goods that they can't move because no one's buying them. So what are they doing? They're slashing prices left and right. Look at the JOLTS number today, right? We see less people being hired from ADP, private payroll. We'll see what the number looks like on Friday. I mean, everything is trending bad for the economy, but in the right direction for the market. What do I mean by that? We want the economy to slow down so that the Fed can chill out with these interest rates or even reverse them, and that will send the market up. But in order for all that to happen, we need the economy to slow down, which is bad because that means layoffs, that means less hiring, that means less demand. I mean, just this whole cascade effect. Anyways, one more thing I really want to talk about. Okay, two more things. I lied. Two more things. I'll be quick because I know that I want to get ready for this Neuralink. I still need dinner. And if you can't tell, I'm exhausted. Anyways, so we got some numbers today regarding Tesla's EV dominance within the United States. Now, I think if any of you saw that this morning or late yesterday, you might be a little concerned. Okay, why do I say this? Well, Tesla has a 65% of all of the EV deliveries, or just the sheer dominance within the U.S. Right? They have the majority. 65% of all vehicles sold that are electric vehicle are Teslas. I don't know why I'm struggling to say that. Now, the reason you might fear this is because Tesla's gone from 78 to like 76 to 71 to now 65% of the market. But you have to remember, what's happening, it's not like the pie is staying the same size, right? That's not what's happening. It's not like we have a medium-sized pizza and Tesla had 65% of that pizza and everybody else got the rest, right? No, what's happening is we had a medium-sized pizza, Tesla had 70% of that, and now we have an extra large pizza and Tesla owns 65% of that, which means Tesla's total sales are still growing, But the pizza's getting bigger, meaning the market's getting bigger, meaning there's more electric vehicles out there. But here's what I will warn you about that. For any of you who are shorting Tesla, for any of you who are anti-Tesla, I warn you, because I believe that in Q4 or say January, these numbers will look different. I have a feeling Tesla will be back up into the 70% numbers because we're going to be seeing real volume coming out of Austin, and that's only going to keep getting better and better as we go into 2023. All right, Tesla, Austin's going to be a machine. All right, Austin's going to be putting out vehicles left and right. They're going to be large. It's going to be very impressive. So don't underestimate that. So there's a lot of really good things going on right now. Semi later, or tomorrow, we got Neuralink later. Elon's making peace with Apple, it seems. Twitter noise might be dying down. We got a positive day here with Tesla up 7%. We got the Fed kind of turning the corner here a little bit. Hopefully we start to pivot here. Hopefully we can start to see those interest rates, chill out, ease up a bit, and the market can start doing its thing. And then, of course, we got Q4, which is just going to be monstrous, all right? You guys saw the numbers from China. Again, like month 2, and the month 2 isn't even over yet. Month 2 for the quarter is almost double what's ever been. It's just soaring. It's going to be an absolutely phenomenal quarter. And then all the ships as well, they're rolling out. Ships are up 50% compared to last quarter. So there's so many good things happening right now. I know I've said that before. We've all felt that, whether it was Berlin opening, whether it was Austin opening, whether it was credit rating, whether it was a stock split. I mean, I could go on and on. We all thought, okay, all this stuff is good and we're going to see it finally have a reaction in the stock, but we haven't. We haven't seen any reaction at all for the entire year of 2022, but eventually it's going to happen. What's going to trigger? I don't know. No one knows. The point is, this is why you need to stay invested. Not financial advice, just my take, long-term investing. All right, we're going to leave it there. My last thing I want to bring up is, look, I'm contemplating growing my hair back out or not. So if you have been around the channel for a while, let me know. Should I grow my hair out or should I cut it? I'm kind of torn between. I haven't cut it since the wedding. I don't know. I don't know what to do right now. But I'll let you guys decide and I'll do whatever you guys say. All right. Appreciate it. Go watch the Neuralink event. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, or ring that bell. I love you all. Thanks for watching. See you Friday. Peace.